Hey, I wanted to let you know real quick that I'm reopening my Let's Play channel. Come hang out with me all week long over at Friday Night Arcade Plays, where I'll be playing some old and new stuff. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you there at Friday Night Arcade Plays. What if I told you there was a game that just came out in 2018 that has the look and feel of an 8-bit Castlevania game? Ghostly monsters, spooky castles, candles with power-ups and special items, stage hazards, these flying almost Medusa heads, epic chiptunes, and the whip. Yeah, that's totally Castlevania. But actually it's not. It's Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, a spiritual successor to the Castlevania franchise set against a backdrop of 8-bit NES-style graphics and nostalgic goodness. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon was released as part of a Kickstarter for a modernized adaptation of Castlevania called Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. The team behind the Kickstarter offered to release a minigame of sorts if one of the stretch goals for the project was met. Well, pretty much all of the Kickstarter goals were shattered, so here you go, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. This game is a riff mostly on the Castlevania franchise, almost to the point of outright plagiarism, except for the fact that the game's director is Koji Igarashi. Koji worked for Konami going all the way back to 1990 and was pretty much behind all things Castlevania during his time there, including the Metroidvania-style Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So I guess it's not plagiarism if you're just borrowing from yourself. Koji left Konami in 2014 and co-founded Artplay, where he began working on this new Bloodstained series. Specifically, Curse of the Moon borrows from Castlevania 3. Let's take a closer look. You play as Zangetsu, a demon hunter on a mission to take out a powerful archdemon named Grimoire. The gameplay is, well, it's Castlevania. You've got a sword, take your sword, run to the right, and murder anything that moves. You can slash these lanterns hanging in the sky for power-ups and special weapons in the all-too-familiar Castlevania Ninja Gaiden weapons system. You've got a life bar as well as weapons points you spend whenever you use a special weapon. Along the way, you run into goblins, ghostly blue flames, rock monsters, demonic archers, falling chandeliers, giant bats, and these things that are totally not flying Medusa heads. There's stage hazards like rushing water that pushes you in one direction or the other, spikes, quicksand, and quicksand combined with spikes for the asshole combo platter. Play control is a bit smoother than some of its 8-bit predecessors, and that's a good thing. Walking, slashing, and jumping all just feels a little more responsive and zippy, but you still have the stiff jumping mechanic. Can't go getting soft now. Sometimes you can get through an area using patience and learning the patterns, while other times you just say F it and run for the exit as fast as you can. The game starts off with two difficulty settings, casual mode for everyone born after 1995, and for the rest of us, veteran mode, where you just have a limited number of lives and that dreaded knockback whenever you take damage. Yep, that's Castlevania. As you progress through the game, you'll meet up with other characters that can join in your party, each with different weapons and abilities. Miriam has a whip, but we swear it's totally not Castlevania. You can switch between them all on the fly, and the levels also feature branching pathways mid-stage, just like in Castlevania 3. Sometimes you have to utilize a certain character's abilities if you want to choose one path over the other, and here's where the game's extra life system is a little off. Each character has their own life bar, for better or for worse. If one character gets too low, you can switch to another character. But if one of your characters dies, you have to go back to earlier in the stage, and now you don't have access to that character again until the other characters also die. This is especially troublesome in the boss fights. You could end up having to fight this giant boss battle with Alfred and his stubby little staff. Yeah, go get him, buddy! You're faced with the choice of trying to play it out or just taking the loss and killing yourself so you can start the level over with everybody intact. On the one hand, this gives you a chance to maybe think about a different strategy to get through a level, utilizing a separate character, but on the other hand, you may miss out on a path or item that could only be found using a certain character's abilities that happen to be dead. It's just a different way of dealing with extra lives in a party system, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Speaking of boss fights, some of these are pretty over the top. Honestly, I'm not even sure what some of these things are. Giant ghost train? The sprites are all huge and look cool, but they don't really keep with the source material the way the original series did, fighting enemies from the Hammer films like giant vampire bats, mummies, and Frankenstein's monster. What is this? Demonic sea turtles? They're all insanely difficult though, and even the first boss will challenge you. The challenge is all in a fun and rewarding way though. Like any good 8-bit hack and slash game, it's all about memorizing the pattern and executing the plan. I mentioned Symphony of the Night before, and Michiru Yumaine, who served as the primary composer on that game, is also part of the team behind the soundtrack for Curse of the Moon. I won't say that every level track on Curse of the Moon is as good as some of those from the earlier Castlevania series, but man, there are some fantastic tunes here that will easily make you forget you're playing a brand new game. Combine the music with some truly awesome looking background graphics, and it all definitely calls back to the spooky Castlevania atmosphere of old. The best part is this game is only $10 on Steam, and I'd say it's worth every penny. Get yourself an SNES controller, a USB adapter, map all the buttons, and go to town. This game has all the right ingredients: nostalgia, graphics, music, action, and challenge. It's a relatively short game, but in order to get the true ending, you'll have to play through it twice. Beat it once to unlock Nightmare Mode for a truly hardcore challenge, and you'll have to beat the game on Nightmare Mode to unlock the game's true final stage and get the real ending. Well, what do you think? Have you had a chance to play Bloodstained Curse of the Moon yet? What are some of your other favorite modern retro titles? Thank you for watching, and see you next time on Friday Night Arcade.